Anne Frank's diaries are famous the world over for detailing the growing persecution of the Jews through the eyes of a teenage girl. She wrote them in hiding with her family until they were betrayed and sent to a concentration camp where she died.
Well, Eva Schloss was the same age as Anne Frank, and their families hid in the same building in Amsterdam until they too were found out. Eva's father and brother died in a camp, and after the war, Eva's mother married Anne Frank's father, making Eva Anne's stepsister and a Holocaust survivor. And she joins us now. A very good morning to you, Eva.
Good morning. I just would like to put something straight. We were not in the same building. We were in hiding in another part of Amsterdam.
But you were captured and betrayed at more or less the same time.
We were betrayed in May, and the Franks were betrayed in August, so it was not quite the same.
I see. And where were you taken, Eva?
First to Westerbork, which was a Dutch holding camp, and within 3 days we were sent to Auschwitz.
And how many members of your family were taken?
4 of us. My mother, my father, and my brother.
And it was your brother and father who didn't survive?
That's correct, yes, yes.
How strong are your memories of that time?
Well, very strong. So it is 60 years ago, you know, it is as if it's still happening to me in my memory.
And how have you found ways of dealing with the trauma and all the time that you were there?
Well, it took a long time. I didn't speak up for 30 years. And in 1986, through the Anne Frank exhibition, I started to talk for the first time in my life about that. And, you know, you have to live with it. You have to move on with it. And I feel I have changed. I've grown a better person. I understand suffering. And of course, you know, you can't be depressed all your life. And Otto Frank, who was my stepfather, he helped me a lot in the first years through my depression, through my hatred, because I hated not just the Germans, but I hated the whole world who hadn't really avoided all this happening.
So that was a very, sorry Dermot, it was a very cathartic experience for you then, starting to speak, and it released you in a sense.
Yes, that's right. And I find it very important to teach a young generation what has happened.
I was going to ask you about that. You've got involved with the play that's going to be performed at the House of Commons amongst other places, isn't it? And Then They Came for Me. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it was created in 1996 when it came compulsory in America to teach the Holocaust. So it is an educational play. It has been traveling in America since 1996, has been in Australia, has been in Latvia, where we got the 2 communities, the Russians and the Latvian people together. And the Blue Sky Club is trying to go and get it to Israel, Palestine, with Jewish and Palestinian children to play.
Where does the title come from, Eva? And Then They Came for Me?
Well, from Pastor Niemöller, who was a Protestant cleric, who there's a poem about which he said that first they came for the communists and I didn't speak up, and then they came for the Jews and I didn't speak up. And then
it's a very evocative title. It's a multimedia play as well, isn't it?
Yes,
so
it is with video. Yes, that's right. Yes.
You've brought with you some bits and pieces, your story, obviously, but some copies of some pictures that your brother painted. Can you show us?
That's right. Yes. While they were in hiding, like Anne,
I'll just show that to the camera there, Eva.
To pass the time, because he could never go out, he started to paint. I knew he was talented, but he had never done oil paintings, and it's quite amazing what he has achieved just without lessons, just by himself, and just out of his fantasy.
And this one presumably of your mother.
Yes, and before they were betrayed, they hid the paintings under the floorboard of the last hiding place. And after the war, my mother and me retrieved them. And so that's why we have got them. I've got about 30, and at the moment they're traveling in America, but I hope to make an exhibition here, and eventually I have donated them in Amsterdam to the Resistance Museum, so that they will be there permanently.
Clearly a very talented young chap. Was the last time you saw him was presumably
in
at the gates of Auschwitz?
Exactly, that's right.
Eva, sorry, carry on.
He survived till the death marches, and he went to Mauthausen and he perished there. He was not 18 years old yet.
Eva, thank you very much for telling us your story. I mean, it's such a huge and significant day for so many people today. What exactly does this anniversary mean to you?
Well, you know, this morning when I got up at 5 o'clock, I realized how lucky I am that I'm around, and that I had 60 years after this event. I've led a very full life, and I got married. I've got 3 daughters, 5 grandchildren, you know, and life carries on, and the chain is never broken, and you know, we Jews have to carry on, and this is really life, you know.
As we can say, we're very lucky to have you on the sofa. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to talk.
And just let me tell you, ceremonies commemorating the liberation of Auschwitz will be shown in a BBC News special programme today. It's called Auschwitz Remembered, and it's at 1:25 this afternoon on BBC2 and on News 24.